Welcome back to the GTN Show. If I'm honest, I am just getting over this weekend's performances and results. I am, of course, going to be diving into Challenge Roth, but I can do better than that because we've actually got James on the ground to give us a bit of a debrief. Also, we have a phenomenal Ultraman challenge going on right now and an Olympic selection that has caused quite an uproar amongst fans. Okay, starting off as we usually do, things are spotted on social media and various things in the news, and this one I thought I'd start with a little bit more light-hearted before we get into the meat of today's show. Ed Pratt has set off wading, swimming and kayaking along Britain's busiest river, the River Thames, from source to sea. If I'm honest, I'm not entirely sure why he's doing it. I don't think he's raising money for charity. He's doing it nonetheless. He actually previously cycled around the world on a unicycle. So he's got a total of 210 miles to cover. And given he's covering approximately 3 to 4 miles a day, I make that 2 to 2.5 months. Yeah. Good luck, Ed. Sounds fun. Anyway, back to triathlon. And obviously we had Challenge Roth this weekend. I'll be going into some depth on that very shortly. But look at this bike. Isn't this cool? I'm going to assume this is a German triathlete or someone that's recently gone to Germany for Challenge Roth and found their love for pretzels. Anyway, pretty cool. And then also, as many of you may have experienced, the Challenge Roth finish line is like none other. And the final finisher coming across that line, it is electric for. And this year it was Chris Nikic that finished last this year. He is the first person with Down syndrome to have finished an Ironman before. I think it was back in 2020 or 2022. And of course now finishing Challenge Roth. Really cool and yeah, amazing to see. And then on Monday after the race, there are the lines of people queuing up for 2025 entries. If you've maybe tried to enter Challenge Roth before, you will know what I'm talking about. Next week, or this coming weekend, they will open up the entries for 2025 and they will sell out in minutes, if not seconds. But if you're on the ground in Roth after the race, you can actually get an early bird entry. And these people are there with deck chairs and all sorts, camping out, ready to get their spots. And then just a bit of bike porn for us. Absolutely amazing. This is Magnus Ditlev's Plasma RC 357, called the 357, in testament to his 3 hour 57 bike split from Challenge Roth in 2023. This is the bike that he rode this weekend at Challenge Roth, and it's just a thing of beauty. I mean, look at the length of those extensions as well. Absolutely amazing. Which leads me nicely on to discuss the absolutely unreal scenes from this weekend. But rather than me do it, we can do better than that. I'm going to send to James, who's down on the ground.
Hello, we're out here in Roth on race day, and well, what an exciting day. We're actually out here following Jonas Deichmann as he does number 60 of 120 iron distances in 120 days. He's well on his way to the finish and should be coming around that corner any minute now. But while we're waiting for him, I'm just going to give you an update on what's happened today because it's been, well, a record-breaking day. So Magnus Ditlev, I kind of wrote him off in the pre-race predictions because I figured he was still a little bit injured. Apparently, I was completely wrong. He basically led from start to finish, and he swam a 46, biked, get this, a 3:59.25, breaking that magical 4 hour barrier, and then ran a 2:34 to knock 1 minute and 16 off his previous Ironman distance world record that he set last year. Absolutely incredible performance. He ended up being 14 minutes ahead of second place, which was Tom Bishop from GB. Rudy von Berg was in third, Jan Strutman in fourth, and Leon Chevalier in fifth. And actually third, fourth, and fifth were separated by only 41 seconds. But yeah, record-breaking day on the men's side. But not to be outdone, Anne Haug broke a few records of her own. In fact, probably more impressive, because Anne Haug knocked a massive amount of time off Daniela Rief's record from last year. Here, she swam a 52 minutes, biked a 4:27.58, and then ran, wrap your head around this, a 2:38.52 for the run. That is phenomenally fast. The fastest ever marathon by a woman in an iron distance race, and the fastest ever iron distance race. She did 8 hours, 2 minutes, and 38 seconds, nearly going under that magical 8 hour barrier. To put that in perspective, when I won here 12 years ago, I did 7 hours 59, just less than 3 minutes faster, and I ran slower than Annie Haug ran to win this race. Unbelievable. Behind her was Laura Philipp in second, 11.5 minutes behind her, and Els Visser in third, which I'm pretty sure is exactly what Mark predicted the result would be. Although he didn't predict the world record, he did get the order correct. So, well done, Mark. All right, back to waiting for Jonas to come around that corner.
Haha, I got my predictions right. It was just pot luck, but anyway. It was amazing to watch, even if I was just watching it on the live stream rather than in person like James. And incredible, really, considering the weather conditions that they had to battle with, particularly so on the bike. For those geeky folk out there who may be wondering how on earth they rode so fast and the performance was so good, I'm told the air pressure was quite high, which obviously helps with faster bike splits. There was very little wind, and actually the temperature was lower generally across the day than in maybe some of the previous years, which obviously is going to help for the run as well. But yeah, very, very impressive racing. Sadly, we did have a couple of DNFs in the men's race. Firstly, obviously, from Patrick Langer very early on. He said, "I suffered severe pain at the start of the swim due to a kick in the ribs, which only got worse as the race progressed. After about 15 kilometres on the bike, I had to end the race prematurely with a heavy heart as the pain became unbearable." No word of who kicked him in the ribs. Maybe he doesn't know. Maybe it's best we don't know. And sadly, we also had another DNF from Daniel Bakkegaard a little bit further on into the race. He was actually in the main pack that was kind of chasing, or maybe not chasing, but following Magnus Ditlev, who was off the front. And he had a crash actually with an age grouper as it came around onto the second lap. I'm told that he didn't suffer any serious injuries, but it was enough, maybe it was mechanical issues, that he couldn't continue with the race. I hope he is recovering okay, and yeah, it was nothing serious. Whilst we're here, might as well do the other kind of race this weekend and results from that. We had Ironman 70.3 Ecuador. It wasn't a massive field in either the men's or the women's. The men's race was won by Fernando Toldi, and on the women's it was Romina Ballina. Moving on to some other news, and unfortunately some pretty rubbish news to begin with. Of course, there's many teams being announced and athletes being announced in selections for the Paris Olympics, but there's also been some rather controversial decisions. One that's hit the headlines quite close to home and received quite a backlash from fans is the British Athletics team selections. Of course, first off, congratulations to the athletes that have been selected, but there's actually some very notable names that haven't been selected, and they're notable because they've actually met World Athletics criteria and even actually received Olympic invites, but British Athletics have rejected them. One of those athletes is Phil Norman, who's 3,000 metre steeplechase athlete. In his words, "This season, I was British champion, ran the fastest time by a British athlete since 1992 and broke the championship record, which has stood since 1990. I'm now ranked 6th fastest of all time on British rankings. In my career, I've qualified for but been denied participation in the 2019 World Championships, 2022 World Championships, 2022 Commonwealth Games, 2024 European Champs, 2024 Olympic Games. There is no logical reasoning, and it's just unjust." Now, Norman actually missed out on the UK athletics steeplechase qualification by just 0.15 of a second, so very, very close. But as he said, just won the British Champs and set a championship record in doing so. So it simply comes down to British Athletics setting an insane qualifying time, which is the case across a lot of events and even on the field events too. So there's a number of hammer and throwing athletes that have actually lost out too. So are the standards set by some nations just too ridiculous, too hard? And I know Britain are not alone in this. And also, what does this say to the aspiring young athletes that are looking up to going to the Olympics, wanting to follow in the footsteps of some of these athletes and seeing actually it's not quite so straightforward? Yeah, maybe not setting a great example. Moving on though, some more positive news. Welcoming Brownlee Racing. They've actually acquired the final team franchise in the Super Tri series. So Johnny Brownlee is going to be acting as player/manager, which I know he'll love. And Beth Potter and Alex Yee, they're big name early signings to this. And it's not just limited to triathlon racing either. Alistair Brownlee said, "We're proud to be involved with triathlon for the last 25 years, and I look forward to the team helping to build a strong British future in the sport. But as I've been finding out recently, there's a whole world of endurance racing beyond swim, bike and run, and I'm excited about the possibilities for the team's future. And yeah, obviously we're seeing Alistair getting stuck into gravel racing and various things. So yeah, very excited to see where that goes. Finally, former footballer Ashley Cain is currently undertaking a mammoth challenge in memory of his 8-month-old daughter Azalia, who actually died, unfortunately, from a rare form of leukemia in April 2021. So this is called the Ultraman. He started at Land's End in the UK on the 24th of April, which is the anniversary of his daughter Azalia's passing, and plans to cross Britain 3 times from top to bottom, once running, once cycling, and another kayaking, a total of 2,780 miles in total. He's already completed the run, which he completed at the end of May, took him around 34 days. Completed the ride about a week later, did that in 9 days, and now is partway through the kayak at approximately another 16 days to go, and so far has raised over £130,000, which is absolutely amazing. So keep up the amazing work, Ashley. We're actually going to pop the link for his GoFundMe page in the description just down below. Now moving on to What the Tech. In case you missed it, it was Eurobike last week. Eurobike is the largest cycling trade show in the world, where lots of products are teased and released by brands. James was actually there ahead of heading on to Challenge Roth, and we actually have a video on our channel where James basically ran around the expo and found lots of exciting tech that might be interesting to triathletes out there. So go check that out on our channel. There's too much to pick out, but a couple notable ones that I thought were quite cool. The Continental Aero 111 tyre, which is actually only effective on the front, so you don't need to get one for the front and the rear. It's been co-developed with DT Swiss and Swiss side, and essentially has these little vortex generators, as they call it, to basically smooth out the airflow from that front leading edge of the tyre. And yeah, looks pretty neat. Another one which has created a lot of chat and actually won the Eurobike award is this Schwalbe click valve, which I think I'll let James explain a bit more on.
All right, we're here at the Schwab stand, and this has actually won an award for the most innovative component, I think it is, at Eurobike. And this is probably the smallest piece of tech here at Eurobike, but also it's going to make you think, why has it taken so long for anyone to invent this? It is the click valve, and essentially, instead of screwing your Presta valve out, that tiny little valve, and screwing it back in and potentially breaking it off when you're pumping it with your little mini pump, you now just take it off and it clicks on. And it's completely backwards compatible with every valve out there. So you can get the Schrader one that doesn't have a removable valve core. You take this little thing off and you just simply screw it on, and your click valve can fit on it. You can also remove your Presta valve core, and you can put a click valve on there. And you are left wondering, how has this not been invented sooner? No more broken valves on the roadside, no more struggling with different pumps and changing the adapter on your pump when you want to pump up your kids' bikes and then go back to pumping up your race tires, the Presta versus Schrader. It's all solved with one click valve. No word on what sealant would do to it in a tubeless setup, but apparently it has 33% better airflow when it's going into it too, so it should be easier to inflate your tubeless tires too.
And on to Try Spy, our new section of the show, which seems to be going down quite well, you guys. Last week we had this image, and I may have made it too tough again, so that's 2 weeks running. I'm really sorry. So the guesses we had from Kelly Slippy, Paula Finley, another one saying Try Spy, that triathlon girl Paula Finley. Paula Finley for the pit guest, Paula Finley. A lot of people think it's Paula Finley. We also had Kat Matthews. It was in fact Laura Madsen. So only one person actually got it right this week, from Anna Diamantopoulos 3797. Congratulations, you got the correct Try Spy athlete. This week though, do your best. Who is this? Is it a mullet? Is it a lady who's lovely long flowing hair. Who knows? Let us know who you think it is in the comment section down below. Say what? All right, comments of the week. So last week we discussed Anna Haug and her recent performances and how hard she's been running, considering maybe she didn't necessarily need to. And she showed us this weekend just gone as well. Leroy actually responded to us saying, Anna Haug just decided it's useless to run for longer if you don't have to. Yeah. True. Now we had some lovely comments under James's Challenge Volsheet videos. So we've had a 2-part series. In case you've missed them, go check them out. And actually we've got the second part of that that's just gone out this weekend. They're amazing. James's comeback, although he doesn't want to call it a comeback. He did an amazing job. It's a race that he won many moons ago as a pro. He's come back as an age grouper, and we've used it as a bit of a incentive to get fit. Basically, I entered him with a month's notice and told him to get a move on. Anyway, he did amazing, and loads of lovely comments, as I say. And I love this comment from Icky7361. Passing them running, seemingly in zone 2, with a camera in your hand whilst talking into it and asking how it's going is next level motivation. Congrats, great comeback. And that got a lot of likes because, yeah, James did look pretty cruisy on the run. He was just chatting away to a camera and obviously passing a lot of people, maybe looking a little worse for wear, just rubbing it in. No, well done to James, absolutely amazing. As I say, go check that video out, it's on the channel already. That is it for the show this week. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, give it a like. See you next time.